Griffin, and it's time again for the doctor's house call. And today I'm going to deal with a subject that was inspired, if you will, by a recent posting that I've seen regarding what 3-wood you should have in your golf bag. And the premise of the demonstration, if you will, was talking about dealing with the 3-wood and different sizes and characteristics of the club head. And I'm going to give you a brief synopsis. For example, here we have a rather large 3-wood shallow face, which has a very low center of gravity, which puts it below the equator of the golf ball. So theoretically, it will create a little more spin and it will cause the ball to get up a little easier. Then you have what I would call a medium-sized 3-wood. Moderately sized, you see, it's not quite as shallow-faced. It's not quite as deep from front to back. This driver will put a little lower ball flight, if you will, not quite as much spin. And then we can go to even a third size. This one is even smaller front to back, and still a little bit taller. It's still, I would consider it to be in the shallow face. It's not really deep, but it is much smaller here. So this one again would put less spin and would launch the ball a little bit lower. Now, I have a real problem with saying which 3-wood should be in your bag, and the premise for that is that the ability to hit the 3-wood off the deck. Now, if you're going to talk about off of a tee, then probably a 3-wood would be really good club for a lot of people to use off the tee because it's got more loft and it's shorter, so you get a better launch angle and you get more control. But off the deck, it's difficult to get the ball up and airborne if you have a lower club head speed. Now, my rule of thumb is when I'm dealing with people in a fitting is if you have a sub 90 mile an hour club head speed with a driver, we sit down and we talk about, is it really advantageous for you to even have a 3-wood? Now, my own personal criteria or parameters for whether or not a 3-wood would be a good club in the bag is, out of 10 shots, can you say that 8 of them get up, fly true, fly straight, fly high, and fly accurately? If not, then I don't want a club in my bag that doesn't give me at least 80% return. Now, I know, I just heard that comment. Some of you just said, well, I don't even have a club, any club in my bag that gives me that kind of return. You need to come see me. We need to talk. But seriously, if 5 out of 10 of your shots with a 3-wood don't get up, and I mean really get up and soar and travel and get the right launch angle, it's just not worth having it in your bag. You don't generate enough club head speed. And again, I use that 90 mile an hour club head speed as a benchmark. At 88, which is where my club head speed, I can still hit a 3-wood. I can still get it up and traveling fairly well, but not to the point to where I feel like I don't have to work at getting it up. And also keeping in mind that with our vertical swing, you actually want to be catching the ball on the upswing. So if I have a 3-wood that's big, front to back it's long, then when I come in and I've got that ball up in the front of my stance and I'm trying to hit up on it, that back end is going to tend to catch and drag and skip. That's no good. So the benefit of that driver, which is supposed to help me get the ball airborne, up, easier, quick, with more spin, in order to hit it clean and crisp, I'm going to have to move the ball back in my stance, which means I'm going to be hitting it flatter. So I've just negated any benefit that the club gave me to begin with. So what's the alternative? 5 wood. Look how thin this is. Front to back. Thin, low profile, low center of gravity. With very little effort, this ball will get up and move and fly at a good launch angle. Now I know I get this constantly. People say, well, I already hit the ball high. Trust me, standing here looking at a ball out there, you cannot tell the difference between a ball that launched at 14, 15 degrees and a ball that launched at 20 or 21 degrees. And hitting with a 3 wood and a club head speed below 90 miles an hour, your launch angle needs to be around 20 to 21 degrees. You cannot visually tell whether it did or not. So again, sub 90 mile an hour, it gets really questionable whether there is a good 3 wood to put in your bag. You probably would be better going to a 5 wood. Sub 80 mile an hour, it gets to be questionable as whether even a 5 wood might be the best club, and you might want to consider looking at a 7 wood. Again, these are generalities. It's not written in stone. The only way to really know is like when someone comes in here and I test them and I see their club head speed, I see their angle of attack and the way they come into the golf ball, and what they do with the club face. I can then recommend a 5 wood, 7 wood, or whatever, and we can gap them accordingly. But take it to heart, and it could be an ego check for some of us that, hey, we're slowing down, we're not getting younger, our club head speed isn't quite what it used to be, and in answer to the question, what 3 wood or what kind of 3 wood design would be best to have in my bag, the answer may be no 3 wood. It might be better to go to a 5 wood. Well, that's it for me for today. As always, we appreciate your support. Remember, keep it vertical, and better golf is just a fit away.